SmackDown Live, the go-home show to TLC 2018. That thumbnail that you see for this video, that's the real deal. That ain't photoshopped. That was the attendance for last night in Vegas. That's right. Thousands of people did not show up for a go-home show to a pay-per-view in Vegas. Think about that shit. We were talking about, what was it, Milwaukee for Raw a few weeks ago when it looked like half the arena didn't show up. And now we're talking SmackDown, the go-home show to TLC. Thousands of people don't show up, and this is in Vegas. Or that was Houston, actually. Even worse. Houston is a fucking big-time wrestling town. Wrestling city. And they didn't show up for a Monday Night Raw. Vegas isn't showing up for SmackDown. These are go-home shows. And guess what, guys? People don't give a flying fuck. So awkward for the superstars that when they gave their promos to the hard camera, they couldn't even look at the hard camera. They had to look to the left, their right, and all around because it was just too awkward. They were talking to nobody. That is sad, and it has become embarrassing. And I have a lot to talk about that when I start this review in just a few minutes. And Becky Lynch, boy do I have a lot to say about that. When I made the video last week for that review and reaction, and I said, has Becky Lynch's momentum stalled out? Have the fans turned on Becky Lynch? Not necessarily booing her, but have they just dropped the momentum? Have they been fickle, and switched to the next female? The new flavor of the month. And a lot of you guys didn't like that. BC, what are you talking about? She's just injured. She'll come back. She'll collect her momentum. She'll win the Rumble. She'll get the main event at WrestleMania. Look who was right from the beginning. It was me. This is Vegas. And she got that same reaction she got the week before. The only difference, it was even worse. There was zero reaction for Becky Lynch last night. I think I heard 7 people chanting, Becky, Becky. Yeah. You could blame it on thousands of people not being in the attendance to begin with. But to not get a pop at all when her music blasts? Or I'll do you one better. When she was up on the Tron the segment before and she showed up for her interview segment backstage and you could hear a pin drop. And you expect momentum to further all the way through Royal Rumble and get us to WrestleMania where Becky Lynch and Ronda is going to be your mega main event that's going to captivate us. They can't even hold their momentum to TLC. And you want Becky Lynch main eventing WrestleMania? My question is, who's going to give a fuck by then? I know this is hard for you. I actually like Becky Lynch. This isn't coming from a Becky Lynch hater or somebody throwing shade at Becky Lynch. You're talking to somebody who likes Becky Lynch, who was loving this momentum, who was loving this meteoric rise that she was having. She was one of the bright spots and bright stars that this company and this industry has seen in a long time. Wham! In one punch. One careless, reckless, pathetic punch by Nia Jax ruined that. And then Vince McMahon shifted that character to Charlotte. That further ruined the momentum for Becky. And then bad booking. A hug to Charlotte. Putting Becky Lynch by the commentary booth but not letting her run her mouth, which is what she does just as good as wrestling. Charlotte telling her to shut up and then she just shuts up and obeys the queen. All of these bad booking decisions, and that is what you get last night. Nothing from the people that did show up. At least, nothing. I'll elaborate, and I'll go through SmackDown as a whole in just a couple minutes. But first, before we get to the actual review, I do want to get something off my chest from yesterday's video. Yesterday's video, we went a little bit ballistic. We went a little bit fucking bonkers. We went a little bit fucking crazy, didn't we? Because we had enough with the fucking schmucks and the dipshits that won't give credit where it is due, where it is earned. And that's what I went off on, those type of people. It seems that a lot of you guys narrowed it down to one person that I was talking about when that couldn't be more further from the truth. And that's why I always say, listen to the videos, guys. Listen to my words. I am clearly talking not just about YouTube content creators, but content creators in general, up on social media, and I said several times, journalists that want us to read their columns. But you guys pushed all that to the side and you narrowed it down to one person or maybe two people. I'm talking about, and I even said this word several times in that video yesterday, I'm talking about a plethora of motherfuckers. And if they feel they fall in that category, then they're in that category. But trust me, it was not shade to one person or even just two people. Because if I have issue with one person or even two, I'm going to call them out by their fucking entity. Whatever their page is, whatever their fucking name is, whatever their handle is, channel name, whatever their column is called, website. Just ask what culture. Call those motherfuckers out like that, nonstop. And I blew those motherfuckers up. I have no problem calling motherfuckers out by name when I know that there is a plethora of motherfuckers. Then we're just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to sit here and start picking out fucking names for 35 minutes. Those people will know who they are. But don't think this was about one or two people. No, many. And it also goes for the people I don't know about or haven't watched videos or read their columns or read them on social media. It goes for them too if they fit in that boat. And more importantly, even more importantly, it's the fans or subscribers or readers of their material, of their content, that act like sheep and just go around regurgitating what they heard. That's the shit that pisses me off, because I made videos just in the last 2 weeks about Xavier Woods and Baron Corbin trashing people that critique the product in a negative way. And I made those videos, and I put my heart and soul into those videos because it was what I believed in 100%. That we have every right not just to critique their matches and critique the show as a whole, but we can speak about it and critique it in a negative way if we see fit, if we don't see change, if we see redundancy, if we see shit that's just not good. And I make these videos calling out actual WWE superstars. That's ballsy to do. Because I will be seeing them if I reach my way and work my way up a fucking ladder, and one day I decide to leave the entertainment business aside and just join pro wrestling. More specifically WWE one day. And I no longer do the acting. I no longer direct. I no longer write. I'm just gonna join the pro wrestling field 100%. And I'm gonna join WWE one day. I'm gonna have to rub shoulders with these motherfuckers. You think I'm making life any easier for me by making those videos? No, but it's what I believed in. They opened their mouth on a public forum and spoke how they felt, so I felt the need to retaliate back. But I said in those videos that I will give them the credit when they fucking deserve it. They do put their bodies on the line. So when shit is bad, I'm going to call it out. But when shit is good, I'm going to tell them. I'm going to let them know. And we as a community need to let them know. Good shit. More than just a golf clap. That was good shit. And then we call them right back on the fucking negative. It's yin and it's yang. But I'll always call it down the middle. So when I have motherfuckers, especially ones with bigger audiences, that do not give the credit where it's due, or they just put it in passing. Sure, it was an okay segment, but back to the bullshit. Or sure, that was a good match, but back to the fucking bullshit. No, let the good shit breathe. It's okay to speak 3, 4, 5 minutes about it. Let them know it was good, so they know what's good, so they know what will be praised. And then we'll trash everything that's fucking wrong with the shit, which there is an abundance and a large amount of bad and bullshit and redundancy. But when they give you a fucking main event like that, and Seth Rollins gives a performance like that, and people still call the entire show tragic bullshit and the worst thing ever. How the fuck? You're making people like me that are defending us look like clowns. Because now we are just being negative about everything. Now we are just being foolish and being stupid. Entitled infants, I believe is the word Xavier used. Well, if you're gonna complain about literally everything, even when it was fucking good, then you're proving their point. And again, you're not part of the fucking solution at that point. You are part of the problem. So if you are a writer or a content creator of any fucking sorts, this goes for anybody. And you're trying to make me look like a fucking fool when I'm trying to defend us. I got a problem with that. Which means you now got a problem with the amplified man. There will be no exceptions. I don't care if you're offended. I don't give a fuck. A problem with the amplified man is not a good problem to have, because then you're in a world of shit. If we're gonna critique, we have to call it down the middle. There was vast improvements on that Monday Night Raw, but people have just fucking dwindled themselves into this fucking pity hole where they just want to be miserable. And the entertainment is in the misery. Maybe even the amplified man, he's more fun when he's fucking ranting about the product. But yeah, you know what? I'm having a lot more fun when the product is at its best. I'm having a lot more fun when I'm smiling and having fun and fucking getting amplified in a good way with you guys about what we're looking forward to. The intrigue, the anticipation, the excitement for the next pay-per-view or next week's Raw or even SmackDown. I haven't been able to do that in a long fucking time. We get a main event like that stemming from that promo instantly. Whether you like that promo or not, you felt it was fucking forced or whatever the fuck. You felt they were picking on you. Whatever the fuck the deal is, that promo instantly led to a better program that night with that main event. So even if nothing changes in the future, unfortunately and tragically, that night we got better because of that promo. People crying over that promo, what did you expect them to do? Him to cut it on Vince McMahon? They gotta use that in a fucking storyline, obviously. People loved it because it had realism to it. That's the whole fucking reason. We're not sitting there and overanalyzing the fucking story now. But then again, yeah, we are. That's what we're doing now. Now we're hating the fucking content that's being put fucking out in the fucking promo of Seth Rollins. He can't mention the problems. How dare he mention the problems? How dare he make a good main event from the problems that they had? How dare they don't give us a whole fucking show of rematches? How dare they fix shit? We're supposed to be miserable. No. When I make those videos about Xavier Woods and Baron Corbin, I'm making those videos from the fucking utmost, highest fucking place in my heart and soul. It's everything I believe in and bleed. And if you're gonna turn around and call yourself somebody in the business, a journalist, a content creator, whatever you call yourself, if you're going to go back and make us, yes, us, look like fucking tools because you're living up to everything Xavier and Baron said we were, I got a problem with that. I'm not going to be lumped into that category. And if that's the case, I want nothing to do with you motherfuckers. I'm on my own over here, man. I'm doing things the fucking right way. Calling it down the middle. Giving these superstars the credit when they deserve it. And calling them out when they don't. And the whole show as a fucking whole when it needs to be. And when there's good shit, you're gonna know. That's what separates me from everybody else. But I want to clear that up. I stand by every fucking word I said yesterday, and I forever will, and I'll get even more amplified in the future, but trust me when I say that wasn't to one motherfucker or even two motherfuckers. There's several motherfuckers I have in mind, but more importantly, the fans that regurgitate the bullshit. Hopefully that clears that up. Should we talk some SmackDown Live go-home show to TLC now? Now that I got everybody revved up, I'm gonna down another Starbucks, and then we're gonna fucking start this review. Let's rock this. Alright guys, we knocked out another latte, so we are ready now to fuck shit up. I'm gonna try to keep this review 20 minutes-ish, because I know we all want to go about our Wednesdays. There's kind of a lot to talk to, so I'm going to squish it into hopefully 20 minutes if I can keep my train of thought and not go every which way and make this an hour and 20-minute video. I'm going to try not to do that, guys. Listen, Raw's coming off its worst rating ever yet again, from what we're hearing. Second week in a row now that this downward spiral is just fucking huge. Raw's been horrible for months and even fucking years. So we finally get some good shit this past Monday, and people are like, then why was the rating so bad? Guys, I'm not surprised at all. The previous 2 weeks before this past Monday were absolutely horrendous Raws. I mean, pretty much, I don't want to jinx anything, but that's pretty much as low as you could fucking go. So, I don't blame the morale to be that fucking low for this past Monday. I'm not surprised that people fucking did not tune in, or maybe they finally drove them away and they said, fuck it. I'm not surprised. It's gonna take a lot to get people back. It's gonna take a lot of change, man. There's no question about that. And to see the rating that low yet again, when we actually had a fucking kick-ass main event, when we actually did not have a bunch of rematches, I'm not surprised still, because like I said in yesterday's video, Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, you're not going to fucking get all your audience back in one day just because you had one good main event. You're going to have to prove to us that you can stay consistent. Otherwise, Raw could be just treacherous next week again. You know, you're around Christmas anyway, so I'm not putting a lot of stock into that Monday Night Raw. I won't even be doing, will I be doing, oh, no, hold on, yes, I will be. That's post-TLC. That's the 17th, so you're damn right we're going to be putting a lot of stock next Monday, this upcoming Monday. You're damn right. It's the following Monday, the Christmas edition. We have no fucking expectations for that one. But Raw has to carry any momentum that it had yesterday into next week. That's the only way this works. You have to stay consistent. But as far as the rating for this past Monday, I'm not surprised, man. You were coming off the heels of 2 horrendous weeks beforehand. You're going to have to earn all of their trust back, man, and stay consistent before we see those ratings start to improve and start to go on the incline. But I bring that up because that's extra pressure for SmackDown to have to put on a good show now. And I'm not just talking good. It's got to be a little better than good, right? And when you sit back, when this show went off the air and you analyze SmackDown, I can honestly say it was no more than just a good show. And I'm being generous. Just a good show. I feel they needed that extra because Raw's momentum and morale has been down for so long. They find out the news that the fucking ratings hit a whole new low. So SmackDown really wants to come up with something extra. Some extra chutzpah, some extra good fucking gusto. I can speak. I need another fucking coffee maybe, who knows. They need something more than just an average, just a decent, just even a good show. They need extra. And by the way, it's a go-home show to a big pay-per-view. I call it big. TLC's always been a fucking decent pay-per-view for all of us. A little bit more fun and intrigue for TLC pay-per-views. It's a go-home show. And they just gave us an opening of Daniel Bryan cutting a fucking promo and Mufasa, what is this? The Lion King? Mustafa Ali from 205 Live wanting a match with Daniel Bryan. First of all, why are we blurring the lines? I thought there's supposed to be a separate division. What's next? Monday Night Raw guys going to SmackDown and challenging them? Yeah, that might be fun and intriguing, especially with the bullshit that we've been viewing the past several months and even years. But yes, while we clamor for different, why we want change, why we want originality, we want it in a realistic, believable approach and way. Just throwing a 205 Live star onto the main roster and on SmackDown and challenging Daniel Bryan with no reason. Are they a separate division or not? Now that the lines are blurred, where does it end? Now Buddy Murphy next week will be taking on AJ Styles. Hey, another match we wouldn't mind seeing, but why are we seeing it? How does it make sense? If that's the case, just make them the main roster then. I have a problem with that. And don't get me wrong, man. They put on a decent match. Obviously, Daniel Bryan, one of the best wrestlers in the world. And Mustafa Ali, one of the best fucking gymnasts in the world. But when you get away from Mustafa Ali's crazy dives and flips, his psychology pales in comparison to 99% of the fucking greats in this business, past, present, and future. You're not gonna sell me that Mustafa Ali could ever fucking main event a WrestleMania or much less a SummerSlam. I know I'm fucking hurting people's fucking feelings right now, but it's the truth. There's a reason they're in the cruiserweights. Mustafa Ali is beginning a show, a go-home show to TLC. Can't make that shit up. Maybe for the middle of fucking SmackDown you can throw that in, but that's how you're captivating your audience for the rest of the show? I love the end of their promo. Daniel Bryan says, what kind of car do you drive? When Mustafa Ali is real pumped up. He's ready to take on Bryan. And Bryan brings down his gusto and chutzpah. And says, what kind of car do you drive? And Mustafa Ali is full of rage, full of amplification. He's like, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but an SUV. And Daniel Bryan's like, you're a very small man. Why are you driving an SUV? Mustafa Ali's like, well, Bryan, you know that I have a wife, I have kids. And Daniel Bryan just smacks the taste out of that motherfucker's mouth and the yellow off his teeth. Square out of his fucking mouth. I loved it. There was a beautiful way to get someone who's so amped up to punch you in the face to bring them right back down. Confused and clueless. And trying to answer a dumbass question. But Bryan knew what he was doing. I love that shit. I love this new Daniel Bryan. I hate that we have to call him the new Daniel Bryan every fucking time we announce him. But I'm loving the new Daniel Bryan because the new Daniel Bryan is just the old Daniel Bryan. The original heel Daniel Bryan. Just with a little bit of a twist. The angry vegan. Who's trying to save the environment. So, I like it. The interaction was cool. We don't know why this was done, and this probably isn't the way I would start a show that's the go-home show to a pay-per-view. That's probably not the way I would captivate an audience. Mustafa Ali does one of his little flip dive thingies, and we go to commercial break. We come back, the match is underway. On TV, this match gave us 7 minutes, guys. 7-minute match. So what was this all for? I could see if it was just, hey, let's give him a 25-minute classic. Put the fucking cruiserweight guy in there. Yeah, Mustafa Ali, Daniel, but let's give them an instant classic wrestling match to start the show. Then maybe I'll be a little bit more on board. Still befuddled why they would blur the lines and bring over a cruiserweight guy out of nowhere. But, hey, I can fucking deal with that if it's but a 7-minute match with 2 commercial breaks. It begs the question, what was it all for? We got to see some hoopy ludas by Mustafa, right? Some fucking extracurricular gymnastic maneuvers, and that was it. Daniel Bryan gets his lock on. There's a tap out. After the match, Daniel Bryan attacks him up at the rampway too. I do like that as well. Builds up even more of this Daniel Bryan heel character. I just don't see what all this did for TLC. If anything, maybe it introduced people to Mustafa Ali so people will give a shit a little bit more in the future with 205 Live and with Mustafa Ali. I have no fucking idea. Because isn't the TLC match Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander? I thought. The two buddies at one point. I thought that was the match. So wouldn't you highlight Buddy Murphy? I have no fucking idea, guys. So that befuddled me. But again, just like I always claim, I call it down the middle and I call out the goods, even in things that confuse me. There were some goods there. I like the promo a little bit. I like the fact that Daniel Bryan fucking went up the rampway and attacked him again. Just a weird way to start off SmackDown Live's go-home show to TLC. We went into a rap battle. Can't make this shit up. On paper, this is going to be tragic, right? The only thing that saved this is that the Usos actually did pretty fucking decent, man. They're pretty good fucking rappers. I wouldn't mind sparring with them with some bars. Not the bar, but sparring some bars off of them. I bet you I would rock their fucking world in a rap battle. But the Usos got it, man. And I don't know if that shit's written for them or they write it out. But that shit saved that segment because I was actually hanging on those bars. So that's pretty cool. And what also saved that segment is they didn't let Sheamus and Cesaro rap. Because then that would have made an already dead Vegas crowd. That would have made them fucking just like, I mean, that Vegas crowd was just silent. They were not fucking up for anything. So Becky Lynch, I don't know if she ever did have a fucking chance. If any superstar had a chance of getting cheered last night, it was Becky Lynch. And she didn't even. So the bar, they definitely fucking would have gotten, I don't even know if they would have booed. They were so silent. They just would not have been on board with Sheamus and Cesaro rapping. Let's just end it at that. Luckily, they didn't. After the Usos were done dropping their bars, Sheamus and Cesaro started beating the shit out of everybody. A minute later, 1 minute everyone's rapping, the next minute everyone's knocked out and the bar is saying we're the bar and they're holding up their championships. And just like WWE always does, one of their biggest issues is they don't let the segment breathe. So the second they say we are the bar, we're cutting to an Asuka Charlotte graphic for later in the night. So we don't have time to digest what we just watched. Everything is just bing, bang, boom. One thing after the other. One segment, one segment, one segment, one segment. Back to back to back to back to back. We don't have time to digest anything we're watching. That is a huge problem. Because nobody can get invested if we're not digesting and processing what we just watched. And if you do that shit, we're going to forget half the fucking program by the time it's done. I would have liked to see the bar do their promo, let them celebrate a little bit, let them get out of the ring, walk up the rampway, focus a little bit more on the Usos and the New Day down and out. The broadcasters, the commentators talk about it a little bit more, then maybe you cut to the graphic. I would have cut to commercial right there. WWE loves to cut to commercial during matches. It's always the same redundant bullshit. Cut to a commercial after something happens like that beating from Sheamus and Cesaro. It's much more telling. It's much more of a cliffhanger. It's much more intriguing. So that was a rap battle. Again, it could have been way more tragic than it ended up. Luckily, some fucking things happened in there that it wasn't as tragic as it could have been. Then we move on to The Miz. The Miz is in the fucking ring and he's begging for Shane McMahon to come to the ring. He's got a surprise for him. After fucking a couple of minutes, Shane McMahon finally comes to the ring. And The Miz says, I got a surprise. Here are Vegas's finest. And here comes Vegas's finest, this tag team, a couple of jobbers. I love this type of shit. You need jobbers to help create stars. You're not going to create superstars unless you have people that they're beating the shit out of. Jobbers are perfect for that. So here comes a couple of jobbers. They attack Shane McMahon, and before you know it, there's a referee in the ring ringing the bell. This is a match. Shane McMahon is hauling ass on both of Vegas's finest. And I loved it because you guys know I'm a big Shane McMahon fan. Shane McMahon is looking good in that ring, man. A couple of sloppy moments, obviously. I mean, he's not a 24/7 wrestler. I was going to say he's throwing bows in at least, but a couple of those were just little rabbit shots. So he does have to lay in a little bit more. But it was cool to see that amplification from Shane McMahon. He always brings this high-octane, fast-paced action to his arsenal. And I love that shit from Shane McMahon. He's so believable in his promos and he's believable in his wrestling because it literally looks like somebody who's just fending for his life. Somebody who's just fighting for survival at that point. I love that shit. So Shane McMahon beats these two motherfuckers. Miz gets in the ring, and he's celebrating. And Shane McMahon is like, really, dude? Shane leaves the ring. Miz is still celebrating. Backstage, Paige is backstage with the referee, and she's scolding. She's furious at the referee for starting that match without her approval. And the referee's like, Miz said it was okay. And Paige is like, get out of here. All of a sudden, Vegas's finest come up behind Paige, and they hand her a piece of paper saying they want $5,000 for their services that night. And Paige is like, yeah, you want $5,000? She's still pissed off at the ref. She's like, you want $5,000? She rips up the paper, throws it at him. Get out of here! So I loved Paige last night. She was just like, the show's going off the rails. She's furious. She's kicking everybody out. It's those little segments sometimes that help bring that entertainment factor. I do love that shit, so... That, mixed in with Shane McMahon being in the ring, man, I'll take that shit for sure. Randy Orton, cutting a promo on Rey Mysterio. They're going to have a chairs match at TLC. So, Orton is now cutting a promo. And I like the way Mysterio came into this ring. Orton says everybody is all concerned with 3 letters. TLC. But Mysterio should be concerned with 3 other letters. R, K, and before he can say, oh, we see a chair enter frame and smack Randy Orton toward the back of his dome piece. Rey Mysterio just levels Orton. So right when Orton says RK, and then you see the chair shot, and the commentators go, oh! That was beautifully done, man. You talk about timing, beautiful, impeccable, man. That was great. And then you saw Rey Mysterio do a couple of things with the chair, threw the chair over at Orton, and then does like one of his kicks, drop kicks. 619 was attempted, but Orton was able to escape, I believe, or maybe he hit it and Orton ran out. Who the fuck knows? But there wasn't too much offense by Mysterio, but a couple of chair shots. And this sets up a chairs match at TLC. So I can't tell you I'm intrigued to see Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio at TLC, but... at least this was done correctly. And you add in the chairs concept, maybe they got something here. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. You're talking about 2 veterans that know what to do psychologically speaking, so they can turn horseshit into gold. Let's hope that they do at TLC. We went into a Becky Lynch interview backstage, and this is what I mean, guys, about the momentum. It's just about gone. Even though a lot of that crowd was also gone last night, they just didn't show up. You literally could hear a pin drop in that arena, man. Nobody pop. Usually when you see a backstage segment, that's being shown on the Tron. And you hear a little bit of a pop. Nothing. Becky Lynch does a little fucking backstage promo, and then we cut to commercial. We come back, and I believe we had Rusev... Jeff Hardy versus Rusev and Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Samoa Joe. Decent, tag match, I guess you could say, right? I'm more intrigued to see Rusev versus Samoa Joe one-on-one with a badass storyline. If they could build a feud with Samoa Joe and Rusev and actually make Rusev somebody we give a fuck about, tell me that wouldn't be a fucking awesome feud. But we have a tag team match, and again, I didn't see a lot of, if any, Rusev versus Samoa Joe last night. When Rusev was in there, it was mostly against Shinsuke, so maybe in the future we could do something with Joe and Rusev on a much more higher scale and level. But this was a pretty quick match, I guess, 10 minutes of TV time. If even, actually, but I'll say around 10 minutes of actual television time. And when it was all said and done, Rusev defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. So Samoa Joe continues to decline, even if it's in a tag match. He continues to rack up L's. Just like Andrade Cien Almas, man. In his short time on the main roster, he attracted so many L's under his name. Samoa Joe, so many L's under his name, man. It's kind of tragic. Shinsuke Nakamura, your United States champion, flat on his back, eating a 1-2-3, 50-50 booking at its finest, man. And it's killing superstars, not helping create them. So I don't know what this does for Rusev, man. It looks like Rusev's on a little bit of a streak. Is Vince McMahon now starting to push Rusev when his momentum is dead? When Rusev was hot as fuck, Vince wanted nothing to do with him. Now that his fucking momentum's gone, now we'll push him. Okay. Then we went on to the main event, man. So that's the whole SmackDown show. I mean, a couple of good things here and there that we can talk about, absolutely. But when you talk about, is it entertaining, intriguing, was it fun as fuck, did it help get you more in anticipation for TLC? The answer to all those questions for the Amplified Man is no. But we go on to the main event. Maybe that can salvage this. It's Asuka and Charlotte. And this is a rematch from WrestleMania this past year. So, here's the bottom line. This match absolutely delivered. It was a good match. Not just aerial assault, and you got the moonsaults, and you got Asuka trying to hit the top rope, but you had the ground game. All of their holds were on display. So you had the aerial assault, but you also had the ground game on full fucking throttle mode. All together, mixed in with the good psychology, man, this was a good match. I'm not going to sit here and play devil's advocate on if it was better than their WrestleMania match. I believe in some areas it was, in other areas it wasn't. But it was a good match, man, for a SmackDown main event. It sucks that it had to end the way it did. They were on the outside. 13 minutes, by the way, of actual airtime. 13-minute main event. They went to the outside. Charlotte Flair grabs a kendo stick and starts beating up on Asuka. Obviously, Asuka wins via disqualification. So Asuka gets a little bit of revenge from her WrestleMania match with Charlotte. But it wasn't anything that we had a decisive winner. But I think that's the only way you really could have went. Maybe I would have went a little bit more different way with it. A little bit more intriguing, a little bit more fun. Not making Charlotte look like she just can't beat anybody nowadays. Ronda Rousey, she fucking takes the easy way out. Asuka, she takes the easy way out. I know that's a way to help build kind of a heelish character, which is what she should be, because that's what she thrives and what she's better as. But man, Charlotte's better than just taking the easy way out every which way. But again, maybe that's the only way they can go out. They don't want either woman taking the fucking loss days before TLC. What I have a problem with, guys, is Becky Lynch being, again, by the commentator booth, but not commentating. She's awesome on Twitter and with her words when she's on a microphone, and Vince, for the second week in a row, will not let her light motherfuckers up. She would roast Charlotte and Asuka on the mic, and Vince knew it, so he doesn't let her on the mic. That could help build a superstar. When Stone Cold was injured, man, they put him on the mic every fucking chance they got, and they helped build him. Becky, they have her just sitting by, like just one of us. And then they wonder, man, what they're doing to her, how her momentum is dying so fast, if it ain't already dead. It's because they're booking her like a fucking clown, too. After the match, Becky Lynch, I believe, she stood up. Was it Becky? Did Charlotte take a shot at Becky first? I think it was. And then Becky was able to capitalize, get the kendo stick, and beat down on Charlotte a little bit. But then Asuka came out of nowhere. Asuka gets the upper hand. Asuka starts beating the shit out of Charlotte and Becky Lynch. Threw Becky Lynch over the table. When Becky tried getting back, Asuka was beating the fuck out of Becky Lynch. So you don't got to worry about Charlotte looking like a tool and not being able to beat Asuka again. Becky Lynch is getting the shit kicked out of her. That's one way to build a superstar. That was all about Asuka. Cool fucking shit, man. The camera's doing its little in and out shit that fucking Kevin Dunn loves to do when it's chaos. So Asuka's just going nuts. Charlotte took the blunt of all those kendo sticks, by the way. Becky Lynch at least had a jacket on. But Charlotte, man, you could tell Charlotte had enough. Charlotte was trying to, like, put her boots up. Asuka was having none of it. Beating the fuck out of both. It was cool. But boy, oh boy, do I fucking hate seeing Becky Lynch booked like that when she needs momentum right now. They have her sitting by commentary, mouth shut, and then at the end of the show getting the shit kicked out of her. It's not gonna build anything for her, man. Asuka looked golden, though. She wins the match via DQ, and then she beats the shit out of everybody. I don't even know if we faded to black because of timing issues. I think we just cut to the next show. But that main event definitely helped swing the pendulum from one side to the other. If I had to say this was a good show or not, because of that main event, I will say it was good. Because the main event absolutely delivered. And I like the extracurricular activity as well. I just don't like Becky Lynch necessarily being used like that. But as a full show, I can look back at this show and honestly say, right now, or 24 hours from now, but I can say this with the utmost certainty right now as well. I don't have to wait 24 hours. That was a forgettable show. There's nothing from that show that I'm going to need to remember. Or remember. Just not. At least with Raw, we're talking about Seth Rollins' promo, whether you loved it or hated it. We're going to remember it because he brought something realistic in real life and put it into the story. We're going to remember that. We're going to remember that there was a TLC match on a Monday Night Raw. And people are climbing those ladders to retrieve the championship. People are flying through tables. With SmackDown, I'm not going to remember anything from it. That sucks. Days before TLC, the go-home show, you needed to bring more than that. I'm the Amplified Man. Now we go to TLC. All the talk is done. All the Monday Night Raws and the SmackDowns beforehand. The pay-per-views beforehand. Super Showdown. Fucking Evolution. Hell in a Cells. It's all done. Now we go into TLC and we end 2018. Which was a tragic year for WWE programming. Can they end it on a high note? It is going to be damn hard for them not to. They put together a stacked fucking card for TLC. A chairs match with Orton and Mysterio. A ladder match with Elias and Bobby Lashley and a guitar hanging up high. A TLC match with Braun Strowman and Corbin. A TLC match with Charlotte, Asuka, and Becky Lynch. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. I mean, with matches like this, guys, how can you produce a bad show? I swear to you, if they do, I'm gonna light that bitch on fire. Burn it down, as Seth Rollins' music says and states. I'm gonna burn that shit down, come the good, the bad, and the ugly. The Monday after that pay-per-view, man, we hold nothing back, bro. This is a decent card on paper. Let's give everyone a show that they will remember well into 2019 and beyond. There's a thought, just a concept from the Amplified Man. I'm going to get more fucking coffees. Now we're going to double fist the shit. I'm going to fuck shit up, and I'm hoping you guys do the same for the rest of this Wednesday. Hopefully there'll be an impromptu video tomorrow or Friday, but sometime this weekend, be on the lookout for the Amplified preview of TLC. We're going to go down the whole fucking card, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on every fucking match. And it might surprise you on a few of them. But that's later in the week, so keep your fucking eyes and ears out and open for that shit, because I promise you, YouTube is still up to their shit where they're de-notifying people, they're taking people off. So even if you're notified and you're being notified of my videos, keep checking. There's impromptu videos I'm always putting out that they are not telling you about. They turn heel. And there's no reason. Work with the Amplified Man. We can create business together. Alright guys, that's it. I'll see you later in the week. Again, we're going to talk more TLC for sure later in the week. For now, kick ass, man. Coffees and ass whoopings.